So I'm glad to report that Virginia is not the only state that Republicans had a fantastic showing in. New Jersey, yes, that deep blue, liberal northeastern state had their own spat of surprises. From not to be, something's happening, folks. Yesterday we ran an article about state Senate candidate Edward Durr and how he almost unseated the top lawmaker in New Jersey, a deep blue state. So he was running for governor. No, he wasn't. He was running for Senate. I apologize. Turns out he actually won. New Jersey truck driver turned Republican state Senate nominee Edward Durr has officially beat out Democratic state Senate President Steve Sweeney in the race for Sweeney's state Senate seat. And that's just the beginning. Durr beat Sweeney in the 3rd district seat 52 to 48%, according to the New York Times. Sweeney had led the state Senate since 2010. So this guy has been a 11-year state Senate president. And he'd been in since 2002, I believe. When he defended his seat back in 2017, he reportedly spent nearly $20 million on what has since become one of the most expensive legislative races in the country. This is the best part, though, because that's whatever. That's cool. That's good. This is the best part. Durr reportedly spent just $153 on his election campaign, with 67 of that going to Dunkin' Donuts. Now, a little bit later on, there's another figure, $2,000. But still, he spent $20 million in 2017. I assume he spent a good deal this Senate or this election, and this dude spends $153 to roughly $2,000 and beats him. So from the Daily Wire, Republican truck driver beats New Jersey's most powerful Democratic lawmaker after only spending a few $1,000s. Politico, which referred to Sweeney as New Jersey's most powerful lawmaker, said that Durr's upset win dealt a severe blow to Democrats, as Sweeney was their most effective political machine. Montclair State University political science professor Bridget Harrison said that Durr's upset victory was, in part, an indicator that even blue states are rejecting Democratic President Joe Biden and his far-left agenda. Yes, if you've been out, unless you are, I don't know, staying in an echo chamber with the people you're around, yes, there's plenty of people who are upset about President Joe Biden's far-left agenda, and as well as just the national blue far-left agenda. And this is what happens. This is what happens when you push a terrible, terrible agenda and policy. Republicans in blue-collar districts turned out heavily to vote Republicans during Tuesday's election. Now, this is it. Senate Minority Leader Loretta Weinberg responded to the upset by saying in an interview, "It is stunning and shocking, and I cannot figure it out." I love this. Of course you can't figure it out, because then you'd have to go against the leader of your party, and that would work well for you, right? I mean, at this point, it might be good to distance yourself. Stunning and shocking, though. I mean, yes, absolutely, in the most glorious way. The fact that she cannot figure it out just goes to show how far the left has their heads up their rear ends. The right, we may not have quite expected to turn out this well, but we can definitely see how terrible nationwide policies coming from the White House as well from Capitol Hill lead to this. The worst 10 states for economic recovery are all blue. New Jersey is one of those, along with New York. And these are the states with still strict COVID mandates. Blue. It seems people are sick and tired of being blue. I can't blame them. I really can't. Let's see. Durr, who previously ran for office a couple of years ago, said that he was motivated to run against... I love this. Said he was motivated to run against Sweeney this year after he was denied a concealed carry permit. You, my man, I like you. I'd vote for you. He said, "I was told flat out by the local sheriff, don't even bother. And that kind of angered me," said Durr. "I've never been arrested, and I couldn't get a concealed carry. That really angered me, so I looked into what can you do to get into politics." Like I said, I love this is why he ran. You won't let me carry my lawful and constitutional weapon? Fine. I will peacefully topple your 19-year reign in state politics. This is beautiful. Another big deal coming out of New Jersey is that New Jersey Republican gubernatorial candidate Jack Cattarelli, we'll say that. Italian names kind of are hard. Came within just a couple of points of knocking off the state's incumbent Democratic governor, Phil Murphy, in a state that Biden won nearly 16 points just last year. And I got to say, a skew of almost 16 points in a year in a hard blue state. I was thinking about it earlier. I think Joe Biden is the greatest thing to happen to the Republican Party, maybe ever. And I get it. I hear you screaming into your screen now. How can I say this? But really, let's think about it. Joe Biden's, let me say this very carefully for legal reasons, so I'm not actively criticizing him. I'm just saying what other people are feeling. The fact that more and more people are pitting themselves against his actions and policies is probably the best thing for the GOP. That's an obvious one. My thing is, if you subscribe to the theory that history is like a pendulum, that it swings back and forth between power bases, then you probably agree with me that Donald Trump gave the pendulum a hard push back to the left. Now, he came in strong when it was sweeping to the right, but I think he gave a strong push back to the left after he had won, and didn't calm down just a little bit. But that's nothing to what Joe Biden seems to be doing. It seems like he's trying to pull it with all of his might, with all of the policies and all, just not quitting, even when his policies are really just unpopular. And he seems to be pulling that pendulum, and it seems like it's like there's a spring right there that he's just pulling it back against, and when he lets it go, at least I'm hoping that it rockets back to the right and stays that way for a little while. But I'm sure Republicans will find a way to volley it back before it would naturally swing back to the left anyway. So it may be for nothing, but there we go. That's my thesis on why Joe Biden's the best thing for the grand old party in a long time. Anyway, back to the voting racial lines I mentioned at the top of the show. So Texas District, by the way, if you're watching, all three of you, if you get friends on, that'd be nice. Ask some questions. I'd love to answer them. It'd be fun. Try and test me to see what I can and can't answer. It'd be fun. Back to this. Texas District, roughly 75% Hispanic, turns red for GOP. On Tuesday night, in what might be a harbinger of things to come, the GOP turned a state House district that is roughly 75% Hispanic from blue to red, as GOP House candidate John Lewin won the seat in Texas's 118th House Representative District. According to the 25 to 2019 American Community Survey, with the analysis by Texas Legislative Council Research Division, the 18th district was roughly 73.4% Hispanic. This is important. This isn't just a random story I pulled out just to throw in time here. It's really important because the traditional wisdom basically says the more Hispanic, the more Latino your district is, the more it's going to vote Democrat. It's going to vote blue. That's why, in a lot of ways, the Democratic Party doesn't want to ever shut off the southern border because they can bring in a voter base. But maybe the traditional wisdom in this instant isn't 100% correct. According to a report in the Texas Monthly, Democrats who have been hoping to turn the state of Texas blue are facing the stark realization that the Hispanic vote they seemingly take for granted is far more conservative than they are willing to admit. Probably because we talked about they're coming from one of those places I talked about earlier where they realize that maybe America is good for a reason. And maybe we don't want to turn it into where we came from. I don't know. Kind of. The Texas Monthly noted last year, McAllen experienced the biggest shift in party vote share towards Donald Trump of any large city in this country, save for Laredo, 150 miles to the northwest. In both border towns, Trump improved on his 2016 results by more than 23 points. No area fled further to the GOP camp than South Texas, where 18% of the state's Hispanic population lives. In Starr County, just upriver from McAllen, Republicans increased their turnout by almost 300% between 2016 and 2020. The Texas Monthly adds, while Hillary Clinton won there by 60 points, Joe Biden barely scraped out to a 5-point victory in Webb County, home of Laredo. Trump cut his 2016 margin of defeat by more than half, and in Zapata County, which didn't even have a local Republican party, Trump became the first GOP candidate to win since Warren G. Hardin was on the ballot a century ago. It just goes to show that just, it doesn't matter your racial ethnicity. Freedom is a universal yearning, and with the blue party actively trying to cut away against it, people are seeing it. People are waking up to it. People that you wouldn't think would wake up to it, just because traditionally that's how they voted, they're waking up to it. And I don't think it's just from the very head of the Democratic Party. I think you see stuff like this all the way on down. I mean, the past 3 weeks I've been hitting hard on localities that are doing terrible things to their kids in the name of transgenderism, in the name of COVID, in the name of inclusivity, so to speak. And yes, this at the low level is turning people against them. It won't turn everybody, but it's not just at the top. People are saying, I don't like the top, and on down. It flows on down like that. Some of it is coming from the ground up, and that's because they keep doing these really, really dumb things I've talked about for the last 3 weeks, and who my friends on here have talked about. And they probably, I don't know if they're going to learn from their lessons. I hope. Okay. For the kids, I hope they do. I really do. And I think best case scenario, I hope they learn. I hope they stop. And I hope people remember that they're still terrible people. I deem that not likely to happen. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I deem that not likely to happen. A little bit more likely is that they stop, people forget they're terrible, and 10 years from now they push all these things again, reheated in some way. But I'm really hoping, my best case scenario is people, of course, remember what these people did to their kids. And they say, nope, not again. Get out of here, you pervert. You're a terrible person. Why are you taking kids to a gay bar? Why are you letting students lap dance in male students lap dance in lingerie? You know, why are you, in the name of trans inclusivity, allowing males into the female bathroom and letting them rape them? And instead of, you know, maybe taking a couple of simple steps to keep this student from doing it again, you're just going to send him to another school and he does it again. So there's my tangent for right now. Yeah, I hope the last one happens and say, get out of here, and they're banned from polite company for the rest of their terrible days. And then, of course, I hope they see the light. I really do. I hope they get taken out from their positions of power, and then I hope they see the light after that. Because there are consequences for actions. So on to just a fun little story I found. 19-year-old running for school board trounces member who helped ruin his school year. This is just a fun one I saw, and this was filler that I put in. But it's a cool story. So this is also in New Jersey, by the way. Nicholas Seppi, a 19-year-old high school graduate whose senior year was heavily disrupted by his school's COVID-19 policies. There you go. There's the term we're looking for. Decided to run against one of the school board members responsible, and he won. So the College Fix reported that Seppi, who graduated from Egg Harbor Township High School in New Jersey last year, defeated Tare Alibarda on the township school board by an overwhelming 17-point margin. So to have, that might be a plus to this Alibarda. I mean, someone came from the school and ran really well and beat him by 17 points, so he must be doing something right education-wise. No, it's probably because he's terrible. Seppi did not respond to a request from comment from the Daily Wire, but he did tell the Fix in a statement that the school shutdowns that disrupted his senior years were awful, motivating him to run out of a desire to serve his community and give parents a voice in the district. And you know what? Based on that, I'd vote for him. I'm putting it right now. I'd vote for him. Go Seppi. I will cheer you on. I'll put one of your signs out in my, 2x2 square here at my apartment. Just on the fact that you want to give parents a voice in the district. You can't be that bad if that's one of your goals. Seppi told the outlet that as a school board member, he wants to expand civics education and increase vocational training opportunities for the township students. There we go. That's another one. You got my vote. You've convinced me. I'd vote for you, but that's voter fraud, and maybe we shouldn't commit voter fraud after 2020 election. Anyway, Seppi told out, let's see, opportunities for township students. According to the outlet, the Fix report that Seppi's election platform also focuses on pledging to represent the students' best interests as well. Hopefully, students' best interest is to say, hey, your parents, they get a say in what happens to you.
I'm Cody.
So all I can...
I'm Cody.
Sorry, technical difficulties. All I can really say is good on this kid for showing up. I don't know his politics, although they seem to be on the right side. So I'm not going to comment on that too much, but I will say that he saw a problem and decided to step in. Let's hope he does a good job, of course. The kid needs and deserves great leadership. The kids at the school need and deserve great leadership who is fighting for truly better education for their best interests and not the interest of the leftist cult. So yes to parents, no to the leftist cult who wants to push all these radical ideology on you. So good on Seppi. Let's hope he turns out to not be someone who just went after it because he really truly wants to make their lives better.